the challenge is open to everybody. So not only Caltech students, so really all students all around the world. They arrive on a Sunday, and they are divided right away into two teams, and they actually start having lectures on Sunday night. Basically, by the end of the first night, they're supposed to have a rough idea of how they want to organize their team. With the systems engineer, who is doing trajectories and things like this, because on Monday morning, they all go to JPL. In teams, they are going to work with the JPL A team, which is the advanced concept team. So then the other days are fairly similar. So in the morning, they have public lectures. In the afternoon, then they work on their mission concept. And then the final day on Friday, they have to give a final report with a mission fact sheet that sums up the mission. And then they will give a public lecture about their mission concept. And there will be a panel that will actually judge their mission concept, and then the results are announced on Friday night.
We are back with another episode of the Cold Start Project, and in my never-ending search for finding guests who are not exactly one clone type, I've got Fabien Royer here. He is a PhD student in space engineering at Caltech, and I wanted him on because he's the co-chair of something called the Caltech Space Challenge, and you've been involved with it, I think, for a year or two. It's a big deal. It involves a lot of students, and I always want to bring in a picture of what it's like for students at universities and not just be business. So thanks for being here, Fabien.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me.
You bet. Well, let's dig right into it. What is the Caltech Space Challenge?
Yeah, so basically the Caltech Space Challenge is an event that was founded in 2011 at Caltech by two graduate students. Their name is Prakhar Mehrotra and Jonathan Mihaly. And basically at the beginning, it was hosted by the Keck Institute for Space Studies. And so the Keck Institute for Space Studies is a think tank, and it aims at developing some risky mission concepts for missions farther into the future. And so they thought that would be great if actually you can translate this think tank into a student event. And so really that was the idea behind the Space Challenge. And so then it became a biannual event. And basically what we do, we take 32 students from all over the world, and we split them into two teams, and they compete on a mission design. So they develop their entire mission, and at the end of the week, they produce basically a phase zero mission proposal. And basically they have 5 days to do this, and they are helped by engineers. They have a couple of lectures during the week and a lot of mentoring. And so that's the sort of the overall format of the Space Challenge. Yeah.
Okay, so let's give our audience a picture of how big of a deal this is here. You said 32 students are chosen, but a lot more apply. So, and it happens every 2 years since 20.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we have between 600 and 800 applicants basically per edition. So in 2017 there was closer to 800. For our year it was closer to 600. Because our topic was, a bit more science oriented, so it was a bit more restricted. But really, a lot of people applied, and excellent applications.
Right. So about 5% of the applicants are getting in.
Yeah. And to be honest, we would love to accept more people, but we have some funding constraints and everything. So. Yeah.
Just like real life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So tell us about this year's, the 2019 challenge, the one we just had then. What was the topic of it?
Yeah, so basically this year's challenge was inspired by the recent end of the Cassini mission. And we asked the students to actually explore architectures based on small landers to explore the jet sources of Enceladus, the moon of Saturn. And so they were tasked especially to look for traces of life. So either biotic life or prebiotic chemistry that will indicate, the potential for life. in the plume material. And so they had to land, as close as they can from the sources of this jet, and really utilize all the recent efforts and technology development on CubeSats to really do some create some deep space landers. So yeah, so super exciting topic, or at least I think.
Right, we're not in near Earth orbit anymore. So the Cassini mission inspires the students to create a mission to go to Saturn's moon, one of Saturn's moons, and it's got these jet plumes firing out. And is there life? Is the question. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're pulling in a lot of source material here, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the goals of the challenge and what goes on in it. How's it organized?
Yeah. So basically, the challenge has multiple goals. So obviously, the first one that you can think about is just the technical goal. And so what we want to do is to study mission concepts that are, farther into the future and a bit risky. And so we just take advantage of our, I would say, academic freedom to do this. So at the end of the day, we are not gonna pay for the project, so you can be a bit more ambitious and just explore all the paths. We are not restricted by a specific timeline or money, but we still try to be realistic. But really, actually, the main goal of the challenge is not really technical, it's more a human goal. So what we want to do is really to develop technical and teamwork skills in the next generation of aerospace leaders. And so the idea is that we want to connect students that right now are studying space sciences and space engineering in universities that may be running space programs in the future in their respective countries. So here what we do is we connect also American students with international students, and we create bonds across countries. And so the hope that we have is that when these people will have higher position in the space industry, well, they will remember these personal connections, and maybe it could sparkle some collaboration, general collaboration in the space field. So it's an optimistic goal, but I think that we are going in the right direction. So yeah.
Right. Well, it seems to involve a lot of people. I'm looking over the screen a lot here, folks, because Fabien has provided very detailed notes, and I'm keeping track of where we are in here. In fact, I might use these as show notes for this particular episode. They're so detailed, which is great. I mean, you've gone into the organizational team here. There's 2 co-chairs, of which you are one. I'm going to ask you about your duties in a moment. 4 student helpers, administrators, some Caltech media relations office, that kind of thing. You've got a jet propulsion lab advisor, right? 2 Caltech advisors. Tell us a little bit about how the JPL and Caltech advisors work with the students. Now they're divided into 2 teams, so 16 apiece. I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the main point is that the Caltech Space Challenge is a student-run event. So eventually the co-chair are, supervising the event, but the JPL played a key role in the success of this event. So first, we have our JPL advisor. So this year was Dr. Morgan Cable, and so she worked. Actually, she was in the Cassini team, and now she's working on Europa Clipper and worked on proposals for Enceladus. And so she brought really the technical background that we needed to actually set up the challenge. And so she helped before the challenge, but then during the challenge, she was joined by other JPL members, especially the JPL advanced architecture team that really studies early mission concepts. And so they were giving public lectures. They were mentoring the students throughout the week. So really, sitting with them, looking at their mission concept, and really providing like a complete mentoring. So really that was the big plus for the student, and really correlated to the quality of solutions that we got at the end. So.
Okay. Now, your notes here, you mentioned that the funding of the challenge takes care of the travel, housing, meals, room logistics, and that.
Yeah.
So you're really scooping these folks up for a week and putting them somewhere, huh? So where they're working. This is like a Caltech dorm or something, or how does that work?
No. So actually, we are actually renting an hotel for this. So
okay.
So there's quite a lot of fundraising that we need to do to be able to do this, because we really start from almost like zero funding. And so there's a lot of fundraising to do. But yeah, for them, they are just like, we just pick them up, put them in a place. But to be honest, like, yeah, they have a hotel room, but they don't sleep a lot. So we could save money on this.
Right. So let them lie on the bench in the workroom.
We did not, but we could.
And they can eat peanuts in the hotel lounge.
Exactly.
Okay. This is Jason Gannigan from Cold Star Tech, and I'm excited to share with you a new offer from Cold Star that we are bringing out to help both space founders and venture capitalists who fund space companies. And it's on two levels. The lower level is a VC who is looking at possibly funding a space company, but they just don't get it. Right? And a lot of tech founders want to come out and create some sort of technical capability, but they do not understand business. And so you'll look and you'll go, where's the customer here? Where's the business model? And they'll go, huh? But I want to make rockets or something, right? And it's really cool. Well, that, as we know from the dot-com era, is not a viable business model. And so you bring us in. We've got great technical expertise on the space side, folks who have done this sort of assessment before, like our technical engineering advisor, Dr. Rick Fleeter, myself in the process engineering field, plenty of other people with brains to look at this problem so that you don't have to blow your brains out trying to figure out how to make this work. And on the company side, it's a benefit for them because we will show them the roadmap to how you're going to get funded, how you will want to fund them, what changes to make to get VCs excited about putting money in. And so that's good for you. Right? The second level is at a deeper and higher level at the same time. It is for venture capitalists who have given a seed round to a company, a space company, and that has gone on for a little while, 6 months, a year, something like that. And it is time, as COVID has made it, to double down or get out. Those are pretty much the choices, right? It's time to invest further in a thing we already know, which seems to be the direction VCs are going in right now. They don't seem to want to look at new things or stop, just kill the project. And so the good news is, in that situation, there's a lot more going on. There's more meat for Cold Star experts to get in and analyze, right? You're going to have processes in place, whether they know it or not. We'll be able to flowchart those and maybe accurately document them for the first time so we can get some kind of value chain going in the organization. We'll be able to test whether the leadership is the right group of people or whether you're missing something, the strategic direction, the business model, all this stuff. So if this sounds interesting to you, reach out to us. You can email me at jason@coldstartech.com or just connect with me and message me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to do it. And I am excited to talk to you. The kind of transformation that we're able to offer here is beyond anything you'll see out there. And as a VC, this will save you so much time and energy, right? Like if you're a VC and you've got 100 companies to look at, you've got 3 days a year to look at each one maybe, right? That's not really good enough, is it? Wouldn't it be better to have experienced, expert space people who understand space, right? Look at this investment and tell you, here's a grade. Right? Here are several grade areas. Is this thing ready to pour gasoline on the fire, or is it just going to go up in smoke? This is Jason Gannigan from Cold Star Tech. Let's get back to the interview. As co-chair, you have a lot of duties here of organizing all this.
Yeah,
and,
sure, yeah.
Them organized in the right place, so they don't know how lucky they got it.
Yeah. Well, for my defense, I was not sleeping much as well. Yeah. So we're all in the same boat.
Right. So tell us about how the challenge is carried out. So you're in the hotel, you're divided into 2 teams.
Yeah.
There are advisors. What else happens?
Yeah, I can give you a bit more
Yes.
breakdown of the week. So basically, yeah, the students, they arrive on a Sunday, and they are divided right away into two teams, and they actually start having lectures on Sunday night. So pretty rough start, but basically by the end of the first night, they're supposed to have a rough idea of how they want to organize their team. So who does what, who is the systems engineer, who is doing trajectories and things like this, because on Monday morning, they all go to JPL. And so what happens there is that in teams, they are going to work with the JPL A team, which is the advanced concept team. And they really are going to get a lot of lectures, and they'll do a lot of exercise to actually set up their mission concept. So we have a very strong basis for the work they will carry out throughout the week. And also they get a tour of JPL, which is
right.
It's just also very exciting. But really a lot of work on Monday to set up, the sound systems engineering basis to their mission and the requirements, and science goals and things like this. So very important day, actually, very crucial day. So then the other days are fairly similar. So in the morning they have public lectures, and in the afternoon then they work on their mission concept with actually the lecturers that stays for the day. And so they had lectures on the really science, also miniaturization of landers, space technologies. So a lot of lectures, and you can actually find all these lectures on our website that have been recorded. And so yeah, very valuable for them. And then the final day on Friday, they have to give a final report with a mission fact sheet that sums up the mission. And then they will give a public lecture about their mission concept. And there will be a panel that will actually judge their mission concept, and then the results are announced on Friday night.
So they're taking in a lot of information, going on tours, furiously working on their laptops, I imagine. And the notes for these lectures will be, I'll include the link that you provided here. Thank you. In the show notes. So folks, I'm going to go look and check that out. And then, so they've got a mission fact sheet, a final report, and then some of the students get elected to do the public speaking part of it, which I'm sure they love. Get up there and present. So how are the solutions evaluated? Who is doing the evaluating, and then what criteria are they using to judge?
So basically, the report that they are giving is a sort of mini phase zero, or I think ESA is calling that phase zero. I'm not sure exactly how JPL is calling this, but basically a mission proposal, and it's almost like the answer of like a decadal survey call, if you want. And so so this is their report, and then there is the final presentation that really is based on the report. And so we have a jury composed of really experts in the field that judges all of this. So we had, for instance, Tom Spilker that worked at JPL in the A team that did a lot of proposals for Enceladus. Morgan Cable, which I mentioned before. Steve Matusek, which is the manager of this advanced concept development team. And then we had people from our sponsors. So David Murrow, who is a business development manager at Lockheed Martin. Michael Tierney, which is a program integration manager at Northrop Grumman. And then Jackie Gish, that was visiting associate, Northrop Grumman liaison at Caltech. So yeah, a very, very good team. People very, very hard to please.
Okay. So are they printing out the report and marking it up and giving it back? Are they stating? Okay.
So actually it's Friday is a very intense day. So what happened is that The students give the final reports at noon. And so then the jury is having lunch, and while they're having lunch, Simon and I, so Simon is the other co-chair, we are trying to print all the reports on time. And then at 1 p.m., we give all the reports to the jury. They have an hour to go through it. And then starting at 2 p.m., then they attend the public lectures. And at the end, they have an hour to make their final decision. So it's a really, really intense day. But in the end, they actually have a pretty good idea of the winner pretty early on, actually.
Okay. Interesting. And so students take away from the experience, other than the networking and obviously being put through the ringer like that, what else do they take away from the experience? Yeah,
it's actually, it's actually very valuable for them. So the first thing is that, of course, they learn a lot during the week because they have this fire hose of knowledge, fire at them. So that's pretty intense for them, but they learn a lot. And actually, often participants, they continue their work after the challenge. So they get together with their team. And so far, we have had, for instance, 11 academic publications out of the challenge. Some in AIC, AIAA, IAAA, or other types of journal. And people, are going to conferences, present their work. So this is a good experience. But really, as I mentioned before, the main takeaway of the challenge is this network of friends, I would say, like space enthusiasts that will stay connected for a long time. And as I've seen so far, I'm on these chat groups of like Space Challenge alumni, and the network of former participants is extremely active. So people meet at conferences, and really it's an international network. So it's even more amazing because they meet at international events and things like this. So very nice. And finally, just on a more like I would say a more concrete point of view, some people are actually getting hired by sponsors. So among the alumni of the Space Challenge, I know a lot of people that are now working at JPL or working at companies that were sponsoring the challenge at the time. So really, really extremely valuable for their career,
Right. I like this a lot. The college that I went to a million years ago, when I still had hair, was very integrated with industry. So companies could come in and help guide the curriculum of the courses. And I think this is an improvement on that because they're getting to see how the students behave as well, right? And who is a leader, what technical ideas that they have, how they think, and that and the relationship building really leads to some good decisions down the road, as to who should we hire.
And to be honest, we had some feedback from the mentors from these, sponsoring companies, and they were, during the week, they were really into it. They were almost like participants, They were sitting, they were like going to the library, picking up some books, trying to like figure out the best way of, helping the participants, the mass budget, cost, and everything. And so in the end, they were like, it's almost like they were back, as students, and they were part of the teams. And so I think that this, very deep connection, personal connection is extremely valuable, not only between participants, but between mentors and participants.
Right. Fabien, the next one will be in 2021.
Yes.
Every 2 years. And I guess it's for Caltech students who are in the aerospace field. How can they get involved or get ready, sign up, and get themselves otherwise prepared for the next challenge?
For the challenge, so just a small correction. So really the challenge is open to everybody. So not only Caltech students, so really all students all around the world. So you just need to be basically an undergrad or graduate student. So it's extremely, extremely, wide.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually accept many different majors. So we accept science people, engineering people, but also other majors like actually design.
Mm-hmm.
What we found is that, at the beginning of the week, we have some design students from design schools, and they're a bit lost. They are like, oh, do we really fit in? Because, it's really the technical stuff, like setting up the mission. And then in the end of the week, they end up being like crucial. They are the organizing center of their team. And in the end, the presentation, the report, the public outreach, they end up being key in their team. And so this was like, extremely surprising to see and pretty amazing. Like, and we also accept, people doing more business majors, because we want also to have realistic proposals.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. So they need to go somewhere and fill out an application, I imagine, and then maybe get transportation to the Caltech area at the time.
No. So actually, so what I've been doing as co-chairs is reaching out to universities. So I send about so I can't reach out to every university in the world, but I reach out to a lot. So I sent almost like 1,000 emails. And so basically usually the universities will promote the challenge, and then we'll send a link to an application form.
Okay.
And once they get accepted, actually everything is free of charge. So we are booking, we are taking care of the travel, we are taking care of the housing, we are taking care of the meals. So really they just have to show up at the airport at the right time, and it should be fine.
Okay, so who is the typical contact or office at the local university that students who hear this and learn about it can go check in on and go, hey, are we connected to this, or how do I get involved?
So usually we are contacting aerospace departments, or also the other majors, so business, design. And we also contact sometimes student unions, and we send them posters. So they should be posting things around universities, and then we are really like spamming pretty heavily. So it's pretty hard not to see us sometimes. But but the best is actually to check the website from time to time, and the application period is between September and December. So this would be 2020. 2020. So it's worth checking, putting an alarm somewhere in your calendar. And
so this coming fall, late fall, early winter, be sure to be checking this out then. And
yes.
Okay. All right. So anybody within hearing distance of our voices electronically here, if you're an undergraduate or a graduate student and you're interested in participating in this, it is open to you. You will have to apply, but go to the administration offices, I guess, and start asking questions, or look for posters around saying this is how to apply.
And we are also, I want to mention also, we are again searching for sponsors. So if you are interested in getting involved as a mentor or sponsoring the event, we are also interested in having other types of contribution, not only participants. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, Fabien Royer, PhD student in Caltech's Space Engineering, co-chair of what we've been talking about, the Caltech Space Challenge, this one for the year 2019 that we just had. Thanks for being here to share your experience with us.
Well, thank you so much. That was a great pleasure. I was super happy to talk about what we do here.
This is Jason Canigan from Cold Star Tech. Thanks a lot for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do want to get email notifications of upcoming episodes or episodes that have just been released, and maybe a little news sprinkled in here and there, you can sign up for email notifications at coldstartech.com/MSB. That's short for Make Space Boring. That's another little show that I do. It's once, twice, 3 times a week, something like that. Anytime there's news or an update on who I'm meeting and what I'm studying in the space field. So you can go check that out. On the YouTube channel, I can do something that I cannot do on Anchor for the audio only side of things. The YouTube channel allows me to have playlists, and so you might want to go to the channel, the Cold Star Tech channel, and check out those playlists, because you will find you can go down a rabbit hole basically into several areas like space law and policy, small sats, and I think that's a lot easier than trying to scroll through 130 episodes or something like that, looking for the thing that you want. So I recommend going and checking that out. And remember, if you're ready to take your space business to the next level, or you're a VC looking for deep and very valuable insight into a space company you're looking at investing in or investing further in, come and talk to us. Thanks for listening.